Somers Point Democratic Club presents Today's Point with Dan Myers and Levi Fox.
Hi, I'm Dan Myers. Welcome to Today's Point, a show about issues concerning Somers Point and South Jersey. My co-host is Levi Fox.
I'm his right-hand man. That's why I sit over here.
And our guest today is Charlotte Carney.
Hi, Charlotte. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Good to be
Charlotte.
here.
How you
Thank
doing? How you doing? We're going to be talking, this is a brand new show and our very first inaugural show. So we're trying very hard to bring you issues concerning Somers Point and South Jersey. We're going to discuss them. We're going to interview people, and we're going to want your feedback. And matter of fact, right off the bat, I want to give you the phone number to do that. It's 609-365-0039.
What's that number again, Dan?
609-365-0039.
Is it flashing across the screen?
We hope it is. That would be nice. Our producer will take care of that. So I've been in town for about 45 years, raised my children here, worked at the Shore Medical Center for many years as a respiratory therapist, currently retired. I have a business. I'm a photographer here in town, been doing that for many years. And now I'm interested in improving the town in any way that I can, bringing issues to light and discussing them with critical thinking and problem solving. And that's basically why I'm here. And I want Levi to go into a little bit of who he is and why he's here.
Well, my name is Levi Fox. I am a public historian and a history and anthropology professor. I'm here because I value Somers Point. It's in my blood. I was born and raised in this town. And I think that it is extremely important for our community to understand the issues that are most relevant to us going forward into the 21st century. And for that reason, I'm so glad to be able to be here on a weekly, we hope, basis in order to talk more about what it is that, as a community, you as well as we can do to improve our town.
Thank you, Levi. And Charlotte, I want to ask you to just tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've lived in town, what your interests are, how you got involved in different clubs and groups.
Okay. I'm actually a native of South Jersey. I grew up in Margate, and after college, my husband and I left the area for about 30 years, and we traveled in many, many different states. And a few years ago, well, maybe about 20-some years ago, we decided that we would come back to the area, since we knew it. And living in Somers Point is really relatively new for me. We bought a beautiful house here because it had a great basement and walkout basement, and I have a studio there, which is our happy place.
Now, what do you do in your studio?
I teach art. I was teaching art for many, many years at different colleges, and I taught in Ventnor, and I taught in Wheaton Arts in Vineland or Millville. And I teach the creative arts. And I also work with special kids, which I love very much. It's my joy. And it's just a great place to be.
And how did you get involved in, are you totally interested in politics? Like, was there any particular thing that got you involved and wanted you to participate in that?
I just felt that Democrats in Somers Point needed a voice.
I see.
And we couldn't seem to get a group together, and I decided, they had asked me, and I had decided to do so. And I met the greatest people, thank you very much, and we have a
Where are these people? They're so nice.
Well, wasn't Levi one of your early recruits? Or you got in contact with Levi and he jumped right in with you?
He took a little bit of coercion.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
I am a challenging person, people tell me. My fiance says I'm the most difficult person in the world.
But No, the people that I met were very enthusiastic too about having a voice, and I think that's really what's important. To give people a place to be and to be together.
What were some of the things that you did? For instance, last year I understand you participated in the Good Old Days Festival.
Oh, it was probably one of the best that we've ever had, and I think because of you and Levi was there. I mean, it was a wonderful day. We had, how many people was it? Almost 100 people sign up, which was really shocking because you didn't know that there were so many Democrats in the Summers Point until that day, and it was really
Coming out of the woodwork now.
And I must say, Charlotte's group, the Summers Point Democrat Club, was very instrumental in pulling me into the political process here in town.
Talk about reluctant. The first time he was asked to run, Dan Myers was like, I would never consider doing that. I understand he's actually going to be running for city council for the second time this year. Is that correct, Dan?
That is correct.
And partly, of course, inspired by Charlotte's leadership. And now we're so happy as a club to have Dan take over as president. And I am appreciative that you all keep me hanging around as municipal chair to, handle the humor and sometimes the politics.
Thank you, Levi. You're the best.
Well, you were an easy choice, Levi, because you were from the area, you knew the town, and you're educated, you're intelligent, and it was just a very easy choice.
Plus, aren't you the town historian or involved in that somehow?
I wear a lot of hats as a public historian. As you know, and as both of you also do, have a small business, a tour company. I've also been a professor at a number of different colleges. But I think most importantly, I'm involved in the Summers Point Historical Society and in an organization trying to preserve our oldest building, the Summers Mansion, which actually is nearly 3 centuries old and the most historic building, one could say, in the entire county, it being the oldest extant building here. That, I think, one of the things I've been most privileged to have the opportunity to do since becoming involved in the Summers Point Democrats is to educate more folks about just what a beautiful community, what a historic community, what a culturally vibrant community we have, and that it's important for Democrats to come out of the woodwork and join together in order to contribute to the community and shape its direction going forward.
I understand you do a pretty mean imitation of Nucky Johnson.
Oh, well, indeed. I don't know what you're talking about. I do know that through Jersey Shore Tours, Nucky can be brought back from the dead for special appearances, and that he has been known to say that though he was a Republican then, if he was alive today, he'd certainly be a Democrat. But other than that, I really, I couldn't really address any of your prompt there. But I am interested to hear more about the two working artists in the room and the ways in which the arts are an integral part of Summers Point.
Well, I've been a photographer for quite a while, 35 years. Started out shooting weddings. I know tons and tons of people from the area because I've photographed their weddings. And I'm actually starting to photograph some of their kids' weddings. Tell you how long I've been around.
Nucky does weddings, by the way, in case any of you are interested.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
We'll talk later.
Okay, we'll talk later. Maybe you can hold the light and I can do the, whatever. Okay, great. So here we are in Summers Point. We're trying to make it a better town. We want you to listen to our podcast. We want you to think about things that are happening in Summers Point and South Jersey. If you have any ideas or comments about how we can improve Summers Point and South Jersey, we want to hear you. That's going to be a very big part of our show.
Well, for example, a lot of people like to live in towns where there are many events and where there is always something going on the weekends. Is there anything going on this weekend, perhaps put together by our local arts commission?
Thank you. There's at the Great Bay Country Club this Sunday from 2 to 4 is a program called Love the Arts. It's free.
And boy, do we.
It's free to the public. You can give a donation. It's always appreciated. It is put on by the Summers Point Arts Commission, which I happen to be a member of. It's also, the chairman of the Summers Point Arts Commission is Kathleen Arleth, who has a beautiful gallery on Bay Avenue. We'd love you to visit sometime.
Is she also part of the Democratic Club?
Yes, she is.
She is
Oh,
also,
how about that?
yes, she
Huh.
did. She did quite a bit of canvassing for me when I ran for council last year, and that's very much appreciated. So this Sunday from 2 to 4, Great Bay Country Club. Love the arts. It's very informative. It shows you everything that all the arts that are happening in Summers Point. And speaking of arts, what is your specialty in art? What is your favorite thing to do with art?
Actually, I don't have a favorite.
Okay.
There's just.
Now who's
other
the most
things.
difficult person?
I really just enjoy it all. I really do. Because I was a writer and a singer and an artist and a teacher, and it's all just good.
Charlotte's one-man band coming to a town near you very soon.
Charlotte's one-man band left a long time.
That is funny. Now, I hope you're entertained. I hope you're informed. One of the things I wanted to talk about today on our inaugural episode is an
Our
idea.
very first one, too.
Is an idea that one of the citizens of this town gave me when I was canvassing for council. And what it was a volunteer program where a senior citizen, or anybody really, I suppose, I think they have to be over a certain age, like say 70, 65, where they would volunteer in a school or at the hospital or some kind of volunteer work here at the city. And in exchange for that, their property tax would not be raised. And we think that was an idea that was actually given to me by someone here in town. Those are the kind of ideas we want to hear.
New solutions to major problems in our community.
We have, one of the things you're going to hear over and over if you ever run for office is taxes just never stop going up. And if you're a senior citizen on a fixed income, that can really be difficult. And solutions we have to come up with solutions to get that to not happen anymore. If someone owns a home, it's paid for, they're on a fixed income, there's no need to have those taxes go up if we can work something out with the city.
Well, Dan, on that same note, I would say one of the major pressing issues in our community for a long time is affordable housing, not just for folks who own their own home, but for folks like me who rent. And I think that the Summers Point Democratic Club especially is a place where renters and those who feel the economic pressures of living in our very challenging local economy would have a place to come, a platform to have a voice in local politics. So I would say just as much as seniors seeking a reduction on their property taxes, a guarantee they'd be able to stay in their homes, I would also want folks who want to guarantee they can stay in their apartments, they can stay in the places they rent where they can continue to send their children to our fine school district. And that's one of the other things, too, that I think is important to do is make people aware that the taxes they're paying are going to help fund the New Jersey schools that are #1 in the nation, and that maybe as Democrats, in addition to saying, well, we need to keep taxes as low as possible, we can do a better job of explaining to people just what the taxes are paying for, that everyone in the community can benefit from.
Excellent. Charlotte, would you like to say anything in closing, like a final comment from you?
No, I'm just so proud of all the people that have worked in this organization and all the things that they have accomplished. And particularly you guys, and I hope you continue to march onward. I can only see good things happening. I'm serious.
Thank you.
Charlotte is a bit of an optimist.
But I find that when we worry so much about taxes, and every time you mention the word Democrat, the other side always said, oh, well, they're going to raise taxes. Well, even when I lived in Linwood, there wasn't a Democrat within 20 miles of the city council, and our taxes went up every year. And the same thing with Summers Point. You have maybe 1 or 2 Democrats on the council, and it's always the Republicans, and yet they don't get chastised for the same thing.
I think that's a very good point, Charlotte, that one thing that we can do as a club is to better educate the community about the realities of local politics.
Absolutely, and I hope that you do. Thank you.
And as a final thought, I want to solicit the listeners and get your input and comments. Call this number, 609-365-0039.
I'm sorry, what was that number again, Dan?
609-365-0039.
But what if
Please
there are
call.
folks who want to contribute their thoughts in other ways? I mean, do we have a Facebook page?
Well, you could actually go to our Facebook page, which is very good, Summers Point Democratic Club, or you could come to our meetings at the Point Diner, the fourth Wednesday of every month, 7
It's the final Wednesday, except if there are 5.
Get a fine Point Diner meal, or their desserts are awesome too. So thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you at our meetings the last Wednesday of every month at the Point Diner at 7 o'clock, or please call 609-365-0039, and please make your comments, give us your input and suggestions. Thank you very much.
We're listening, so please do call or send in your thoughts. And Dan, in closing, can I just say thank you so much for putting this show together so that we can continue to have the opportunity and have a new avenue to share our ideas and to receive feedback. Because one thing that I know is that you genuinely mean it when you say you're listening.
And also a thank you to Frank DeFelice for his production values and his production skill in helping us put this together. And the name of Frank's company is
Third Stage Productions.
Third Stage Productions?
That was Third Stage Productions, folks, right here in Summers Point. Thank you again.
Yay.
This has been a Summers Point Democratic Club presentation. Recorded at New Road Studio. You are go for another Third Stage production.